village of Ashwick Hollow. The air, thick with the scent of pine and damp earth, mingled with the smoky tang of burning wood. Overhead, the sky was endlessly black, save for one lonely star. The villagers whispered about strange happenings. Crops wilting, animals fleeing, an eerie silence. At the heart of this unease stood Elara, the lantern keeper. Her eyes held the weight of someone who had seen far more than she should have. Every evening she lit the great iron lanterns, relics sent to ward off evil. Her father had been the keeper before her until he vanished 3 years ago. Elara knew better than to believe he'd run away. She remembered the look on his face the last time she saw him as he told her, "Keep them lit, Elara, no matter what." And so she did. But tonight felt different. As she walked through the quiet streets, lighting each lantern, she felt that someone was watching her. Shadows seemed longer, darker. When she reached the final lantern at the edge of the village, near the forest, she paused. A cold wind swept through the trees, carrying a low, mournful hum. "Who's there?" she called, but there was no answer. She lit the last lantern and turned to leave. Then she saw it, a figure at the edge of the woods, tall and cloaked in tattered black robes, with a staff carved from twisted wood, glowing with an unnatural green light. "You've kept your promise," it rasped. But promises can be broken. The lantern behind her sputtered and went out. One by one, the other lanterns began to dim. Darkness crept closer. "What do you want?" Elara demanded. "What I've always wanted," it said. To finish what was started, memories flooded back. Her father's disappearance, old stories about the Shadow Warden, a spirit bound to the forest. The truth about the lanterns. They weren't meant to protect the village. They were meant to contain the Shadow Warden. Her father hadn't abandoned her. He had sacrificed himself. Tears blurred her vision as realization dawned. She bolted toward the square, where the last lantern still flickered. Behind her, she heard the heavy thud of footsteps and that terrible humming. She reached the square and ignited the wick of the final lantern. The Shadow Warden emerged from the shadows, and then, with a deafening roar, the lantern exploded in a burst of blinding light. The Shadow Warden was forced back into the forest. When the light faded, Elara collapsed, gasping for breath. The village was safe, for now. But as she stared at the scorched ground where the lantern had stood, she realized that the magic protecting Ashwick Hollow was weakening. As dawn broke over the horizon, Elara made a silent vow. She would uncover the secrets of the lanterns and ensure that no one else would have to make the same sacrifice her father had. Because sometimes, keeping the light alive means stepping into the darkness yourself.